Today we are going to talk about shutter speed and motion blur. Hi, my name is Janet Garcia Trujillo from BeAQueensProductions.com. I am a portrait and family photographer, and in this channel I teach beginners the basics of photography and all the tips and tricks to improve your photography skills. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button to get notified when I post a new video every Wednesday. Shutter speed and motion blur is one and the same. How? Shutter speed affects your motion blur. Knowing how to use shutter speed can help you avoid or even create that motion blur effect in your photos. Before we get into when and how to use shutter speed, let me first explain what shutter speed is. So think of shutter speed like the curtains in your room. Now the purpose of curtains is to block and limit the amount of sunlight that your room is exposed. Now if you want more sunlight in your room, you will open those curtains more. Now depending how long you want your room exposed to that natural lighting, you will keep those curtains open. Let's say that you have curtains that you can automatically set a time for when they can open up and for how long. So for example, let's say you want to open up your curtains at 8 a.m. That way you can get out of bed. But you want them to close around noon so your room doesn't get too hot. So you set your timer at 8 and you set it for 4 hours. This means that your room will be exposed to natural lighting for 4 hours. That's what shutter speed is the amount of time that your camera sensor is exposed to light. Let me know if this made sense by commenting "got it" in the comments below. So how is shutter speed measured? Shutter speed is measured by the fractions of a second. I'll show you. I'm gonna show you using my Canon Rebel T3i. So by looking at the LCD screen from my camera, you'll find the shutter speed right here at the top left corner. So as you can see, it's in a fraction form. So it reads 1/25th of a second. So now I'm going to remove the lens. You're going to see a mirror. Now this mirror is the curtains from our analogy. For 1/125th a second, the mirror is gonna go up. You're going to see the sensor and it's going to be exposed to light for 1/25th a second. Now the camera sensor was the room from the analogy earlier. Now I'm going to lower the shutter speed to 1/5. Now you're going to notice that the sensor is going to be exposed to light for much longer. So here we go. So at 1/5 of a second. Alright, so now I'm going to put both examples side by side. Okay, so now I'm going to lower the shutter speed even more to 2. Now notice that it's not in a fraction form anymore. It has those quotations. This means that it's going to be exposed to light for exactly 2 seconds. Alright, you notice that? Now I'm going to put them side by side and you'll see the difference. Alright, so that is how shutter speed is measured and how it works. So now I'm going to show you how you can change the shutter speed in your camera. Well, using my Canon Rebel T3i, you turn the dial up here that is above the shutter button. And there you go. This is how I do it on my camera. On yours it might be different, so make sure you read the manual to learn how to change the shutter speed in your camera. Where do you find the shutter speed in your live view? So just a reminder, you can access your live view by clicking the record button. Mine is up here. Now looking at the live view, my shutter speed is this one right here at the far bottom left. Notice it has the quotations. This means that the shutter speed will be exposed to that X amount of second to light. Now I'm going to change it back to a fraction form. Now on the live view on my camera, it doesn't show in fraction form, it just shows as a whole number. But notice that the quotations are gone. My shutter speed is still going to be at 1/20th of a second. The other two settings you see is the aperture and the ISO. Now I already made a video explaining what aperture is. That video is in the cards above and the video link is in the description below. And my next video will be about ISO, so stay tuned. Now that you know what shutter speed is, how it's measured, and how to change it in your camera, how do you use shutter speed to take amazing pictures? Well, I'm going to show you a few examples. We're outside and I have my kit lens attached to my Canon Rebel T3i and it's at 18mm focal length. Alright, so we have Marlene here. She's going to be our model. She's going to jump in the air, and I'm going to show you how a fast aperture affects your photography. Now, as you notice, I have my shutter speed all the way up to 2000. Alright, Marlene, are you ready? Okay, so just going to jump in the air. So, give me 1 second. Alright, and go. And you see how everything is clear, there's no motion blur. Put my shutter speed down to 250. So yeah, that way you guys can notice the difference. Alright, Marlene, are you ready? And jump. Okay, if you look closely to her hands, you'll notice there's a bit of motion blur in there. Do you see it? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so now I lowered my shutter speed down to 60th of a second. Are you ready? And jump. Notice the difference? Let me know in the comments if you see the difference. Alright, now I'm going to put them side by side. This one has no motion blur at all. The one in the middle, if you squint real hard, you'll see that there's a bit of motion blur around her hands. And then the third one, it's a bit obvious. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go more in depth about motion blur. That's it. Just remember that shutter speed affects your motion blur. You can either avoid it or create it. It entirely depends on you. How do you want your photos to look like? What story do you want to tell? If you have any other questions about shutter speed, let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, let me know by giving it a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for weekly videos. I'll see you next Wednesday.